Should have everyone get up for Justin with Teamsters. Someone was
Teamsters Local 320.
someone was saying release the.
Yeah, my name is Justin. I'm in Teamsters Local 320. I work at the University of Minnesota, and I've been working there for the last 2 years now. And even when I started working there, I had a feeling that there was something brewing because I've worked in like I work in dining at the university. I cook a lot of restaurant jobs. Anybody who's seen The Bear has at least like some idea of what it's like. There's like a super popular TV show about my profession, so like much the zeitgeist that like kitchen jobs are not easy. They're extremely stressful and extremely mentally taxing, and seem to attract a lot of very emotionally damaged people. But this kitchen in particular, just it's amazing the spectrum of where I'll go from having such a good time because the people that I work with can be so fucking funny sometimes. I need to walk away right now because if I don't, I'm going to punch you in the nose, like levels of rage that I'll have when managers are like climbing up my ass, micromanaging me. I mean, it's insane. And so and the thing is that like I have had a couple of crash outs. I have two disciplinary write-ups on my record. And I don't know anyone in dining who doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it's just across the board, like everybody has just had it up to here. And so yeah, we've been working without a contract, without a union contract, June 30th, and things finally came to a head. In late July, we held a strike vote, and we had 70% of our membership, which is 1,400 workers across the University of Minnesota's campuses, not just in the Twin Cities, but also in Duluth, Crookston, and Miller, and I think Rochester.
Yeah.
10% of those 1,400 workers turned out for the strike vote in late July. We had 97% of them vote yes, 3% of them vote no. We continued with negotiation. The university gave us one last best final offer, and that required a vote by the entire membership, and so we had to vote again. And this time we had even more turnout. I don't know what percentage of the membership it was this time because I haven't heard an exact number. All I know is that it was voted down 82% to 18%, and so that basically locked in strike. And then starting this just past Monday, the strike began first in Duluth and in Crookston and the other outstate Minnesota locations. Like we have a lot of research farms because the University of Minnesota has a big agriculture program.
That's what I thought of when you mentioned farm aid. What do you, what thoroughly is the union demanding? Like,
yeah, and so the sticking point where negotiations seem to break down is that initially we were asking for a 9% raise.
mm-hmm.
The university flatly denied that. We went down to 5. The university denied that. And then after Board of Regent, which is kind of, essentially, if the university was a corporation, he says, as if we all know it is, it obviously is. But, if this university was a corporation, the Board of Regents would be a board of directors, and its president a CEO. But just
Oh yeah, I remember you had a couple TikToks pop off, and I was just like really happy to see that like in your videos, just absolute fucking labor militancy.
2 weeks ago, obviously, with the tragedy at the Annunciation Church, which was like awful. Big story, definitely. Like if you live in Minneapolis, the thing that you're going to be talking about is this strike. Because it's the university is pretty much one of the like biggest employers in the state of Minnesota. I think it's like the number 3 employer in the whole state. It makes like a significant chunk of its economy. Sunday, strike started in Duluth and Crookston and Miller, other outstate Minnesota locations, and then on Tuesday night, it spread to the Twin Cities campus. I was off before the strike began, so the strike for me began Wednesday morning. Starting Tuesday night, when the walkouts began, there was about 300 or 400 people picketing at the location that is known to people who go to the University of Minnesota and attend the University of Minnesota as the Stupor Block. It's like every college has one, like quad, whatever you want to call it. It's where all the dorms are. Pioneer Hall, Centennial Hall, Frontier Hall, all the different dorm rooms. There are all the different dorm buildings in this one spot. It's called Super Block. That's where a bulk of the janitorial staff, the ground staff, and the dining staff, like myself, all work. So there's 300 or 400 people picketing on the first night at the Super Block, which was a pretty impressive turnout. Starting the following morning, picketing continued, and very early in the morning, right off the bat, there was one person detained and then released for trying to block a van full of scabs from breaking through a picket line, and a woman, I still haven't heard her name, but a elderly woman who has been the way I've seen her described is she's been a climate justice activist for decades now. And she was on the picket line in support. She herself isn't a Teamster. She was just there in support. She was shoved to the ground by a University of Minnesota police officer, and she's apparently still in the hospital with severe head trauma.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
don't know details of her injury other than just that it's a severe head trauma and nothing beyond that.
So that
But
was that was
I
connected
did
to.
hear.
Sorry,
Sorry, what?
that was connected to what was happening at the strikes, because I did see that you had shared a video of a police assault on one of the workers. Oh, holy shit! That's fucking wild. Just that
Yeah, and
there
the
is
last
police presence and police intervention happening.
say what now?
There's I'm sorry, I can't tell which mic I'm coming through at this point. There's police intervention happening, and police, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, so the guidelines that were given from local 320 leadership are that we can picket and we can slow traffic down, but we can't block traffic. And so, what if we're obscuring the roadway? We need to eventually let vehicles through. That we can. So while we're picketing, we're usually picketing in front of the driveway of like a parking garage or a loading dock. And the goal of the picket is that when we see delivery trucks coming in to bring deliveries into the university, a lot of those delivery trucks are driven by Teamsters, and there are provisions in every single Teamster bargaining agreement that if they ever see a picket line, they don't have to cross it, and they can't be disciplined for refusing to cross a Teamster picket. Those provisions are in every single collective bargaining agreement that the Teamsters have at every single place that they have a collective bargaining agreement with, across the board, regardless. That's like one of their red lines, always, that they will protect the right of Teamsters to not cross the picket lines of other Teamsters. And so the goal of our picketing is to be visible so that if delivery trucks see us, that they will turn around. The other goal of our picket line, try to turn away strike breakers, scabs, whatever you want to call them. And at the Pioneer Hall super block location where all the residency halls are. Um, the picketing there has had a lot of support, not just from like Teamsters Local 320 members, but also from other groups in support of the Teamsters. And so there's been a little bit like more militancy simply because of the fact that a lot of the folks who are going down there are people from various like social justice organizations and anti-capitalist groups like Freedom Road Socialist Organization. And this, this be called a hard pick, what's known as like a hard pick, where they're not just trying to slow the traffic down, they are actively trying to block access and trying to not just physically block delivery trucks, turn those away, but also they're trying to turn away strike breakers.
Yeah.
And so that's what was happening Wednesday morning.
And I remember you mentioned that there was that the university was actually like getting students to do these jobs in like a scabby way, like during your guys' absence.
They've been asking student workers to work overtime. And they've been asking student workers to take on more work that they would normally be expected to do. In dining, usually students only are expected to work. They will do like simple prep, like chopping vegetables, or they'll serve food, but they're not normally like actually like working on the line, actually cooking. They're normally not like preparing hot food or anything like that. They're typically like in like something that's like pretty chill, relatively chill, because for a lot of these students, this is the first job that they've ever had. Um, and instead they're being asked to like take on sort of labor that we normally do.
Circling back to Farm Aid, like there was some pressure. Yeah. I did read some articles about it, like the artists performing at Farm Aid are like talking about moving it to like Iowa, which is pretty wild.
That I didn't see. All I saw was their statement in support for strike.
Yeah, so it does seem like the pressure is on with Willie Nelson and fucking who else was playing?
Neil Young.
Neil Young, yeah. And Neil Young does stand on business. He did pull out from Spotify for.
Yes, he does. Neil Young has always stood on business. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty wild. And you heard of some pressure from the university that there may have been like there may be some pressure from that.
So I now have heard conflicting things. So yeah, like Willie Nelson, Neil Young, yeah, they made a statement saying that they do not intend to cross the picket line, and the workers who are tasked with assembling the stage and equipment and everything for the festival, which is taking place at Huntington Bank Stadium, which is the football stadium for the University of Minnesota's football team, the Golden Gophers. The union that's tasked with assembling that stage is the stagehands union, IATSE. In the Twin Cities, it's IATSE Local 13. That's IATSE. I think it's like International Alliance of Theater and Stagehand Employees. Basically, like entertainment industry workers, people who work, like as roadies and stuff like that, stagehands, like setting up performances and stuff like that. They also said that they are not going to cross the picket line and that they're going to honor our strike and not put together the stage for the festival. And so like it's not just that Willie Nelson and Neil Young like said that they're not going to cross the picket line. The stagehands are also saying that they're not even going to put the stage together. But I did not know that they were talking about moving it to Iowa. So it sounds like the festival still happened, just like not in Minnesota, which is that's a hell of a L for you. But as far as the conflicting information, like I said earlier, so what I heard from somebody from the Teamsters, he wasn't from Local 320. He's apparently like national. Like he flew in from New York to be here in support. And he said that apparently Rebecca Cunningham's response, that's the president of the University of Minnesota, Rebecca Cunningham. That apparently Rebecca Cunningham's response to this news was, well, that doesn't matter because we have insurance. So the university won't lose anything and therefore they don't care. We lose, the Farm Aid Festival. And
That's wild. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, if that is in fact true, which like I don't doubt, is that I don't have like independent confirmation of that, so I don't want to like completely like assume that it's like absolutely like confirmed back, but allegedly that's what she said, and if true, that that pretty appalling. It kind of like gives us an idea of like the attitude that she has of us and like of the strike. That it really seems like they can wait us out. And the email that I got from HR this morning also definitely like solidifies that. Um, I got an email from HR saying that if you want, you can contact us about returning to work. Here's the number you can call to talk to a supervisor about coming back to work. And, that you don't have to wait for the strike to be over to come back. And then immediately afterwards, they're like, because if you don't come back, then next pay period, you're on the hook for the full cost of your health insurance, which will be about $1,400. So basically, our whole paycheck.
Oh Jesus, that's fucking crazy.
And the whole reason why we were asking for the 3.5% raise in the first place is because of the fact that our health insurance premium, so like the portion that we pay towards our health insurance, is about to increase. I don't know the exact like percentile amount. I just know that the increase is significant enough that the negotiation committee decided that like 3.5% is the lowest we can go and that we will not accept anything lower than 3.5%.
That's pretty. That's pretty. Sounds like the stakes are pretty high, and the fight is on.
Yeah. And so the other red line that we have is the expiration date of the contract. So the university wants us to accept winter expiration. They want the contract to expire December 31st. Um, and we want the contract to expire in the middle of the fiscal year. We want to expire in June 30th. And the reason for that is the fact that we're on strike right now. And that's in like our current bargaining agreement expired on June 30th of this year. And so we were able to hold our strike vote in July. As public employees, it is law. I think it's federal law that as public employees we have to have a no strike clause in our contract. Because the way that labor laws work in the United States is if it works, it's illegal. If it's effective at getting results from employers, it's illegal. And every single effort is taken to make sure that the kind of strikes that you used to see in the 30s never happen again. And so we want our contract to expire in June 30th because we want to continue to have the leverage of being able to strike while classes are in session. Because that means that we'll always have that leverage of being able to cause problems for the university if they aren't willing to negotiate in good faith with us, which like they haven't been negotiating in good faith with us from the beginning.
Oh yeah, for real.
And if we accept this winter expiration, it would mean that our negotiations began in March of this year, and it is now September. So that's about like 6 months. It would mean that about like if the negotiations went about the same way and went by about the same schedule, that would So that would mean going on strike in June when nobody is on when there's nobody on campus. Pretty much.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like there are still summer classes, but there's significantly smaller, and there's nobody like there's very few people who live on campus year round. Pretty much the only people living on campus year round are international students here on H-1B visas who just live, full time on campus for the duration of their schooling in the United States at the University of Minnesota.
How are the disruptions looking? Are you seeing like a near effect of the environment, this environment to study?
So this is why I love TikTok because I'm getting to see what the I mean like of course see like the common like my FYP too local. And it's true, like my FYP, like my For You page lately is way too local because I'm getting all of the like TikToks of students reacting to the strike with like the wilted flower emoji, like saying like the university doesn't want to pay the people who make my food, so now the food in the dorms is buns. And then wilted flower emoji, wilted flower emoji, wilted flower emoji. Or the University of Minnesota is not even real, and it's showing like the trash cans just like completely overflowing because nobody's taking out the trash.
Oh shit.
Apparently, apparently, there's nobody working in maintenance and plumbing right now, and one of the dorms had a flood in the bathroom.
Oh shit.
And so, I've been seeing like the hilarious TikToks from these students, like just reacting in the way that, as we know, only Gen Z can, um, with just this like ironic detachment of like still finding a way to make it funny by like just finding like a TikTok sound that just makes it instantly like so stupid that you start laughing. And I do have to admire like the very like absurdist nihilism that you see in a lot of Zoomers because I mean how else how else would you expect that generation to turn out given the fact that they never knew a time without smartphones, they never knew a time without like social media, and it shows.
Oh yeah. That is pretty that's pretty funny. The response from the students and yeah. Hopefully you guys make it through this deal and see what comes of it.
And as far as like not online, but like the actual like in-person interactions that we've been having with students, the outpouring of support has been incredible. Um, some students brought to my picket some homemade jam and like baked bread that they like cooked themselves and they dropped it off for us. I mean, like we got cottage core snacks on the picket line. Like we had some students drop off like a big ass like catering box of Jimmy John's for
Yeah.
us. Uh, I got memories of Occupy when on the first day of the strike, like some pizza got delivered to us by like random internet strangers. And it reminded me of like the Occupy pizza where people would literally just not even in New York, not even in Zuccotti, were ordering pizza and having it delivered to Zuccotti Park, just so that the folks you know at Occupy, like in the encampment, could could be fed for the night. So it reminded me of that, and I've had a lot of like students like come up and just like strike up conversation with us, including a couple of really funny interactions with student communists. There's which like as with like any campus group, as with any like college campus, you're gonna have like the various like red groups on campus. At the University of Minnesota, there's SDS, that's Students for Democratic Society, and there's RCA, or Revolutionary Communists of America, and both have come to our picket. And SDS is affiliated with Rizzo, which is Freedom Road Socialist Organization, and they are um, Marxist Leninist Maoists. Like they're Maoists basically.
Yeah.
Uh, Hankies, as the internet would call them. And RCA are they used to be IMT, or International Marxist Tendency, and they are Trotskyists. And so the RCA Trotskyists, it was the funniest part of the conversation they were having with me, because like I mean when they come up and start talking to me, I'm kind of just like, I'm just gonna be nice, because like their heart's in the right place. They're here to like show support, and like, but they're also like very obviously recruiting, and I'm just kind of like, that's very nice. Like, what I told one of my friends was, I pat them on the head and send them on their way. But the funniest thing that RCA said to me was, they said, "Have you ever heard of the Russian Revolution?" And I felt like that scene in Parks and Recreation when oh, what's his name? I just know his character. I just know him as Ron Swanson. Um, but like the Ron Swanson character in Parks and Rec, when he goes into like a Lowe's, and the Lowe's employee is like, "Can I help you?" And he just goes, "I know more than," and keeps going. When they asked me if I'd ever heard of the Russian, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" like, bless your heart, kid.
Oh god. So I think the Means TV app just got hacked.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I got a notification that said hacked. And then I clicked on the notification and it took me to a Telegram, and I don't have the Telegram. So I just it just took me to the Telegram app, and I'm like, what the fuck? Holy shit. But like it was like bugging. Like notifications were bugging. I got like 7 in a row for one documentary. And that was pretty wild.
That's insane.
Yeah, it just happened just now. I was like, what the fuck? I can't
Speaking
find
of
any Twitter sources. Um,
speaking of Telegram, so at my picket, I have kind of like become like the de facto like hype man, and also like, because I've been like just looking out for everybody and checking in on everyone and stuff, like, and circulating like as much information as possible. Everybody just kind of turns to me. Like I've kind of just I'm strike dad, I'm strike dad. And one of the women on the picket line with me is this Russian woman, and she's not a citizen, like she's a non-citizen. And when I asked what her immigration status was, she kind of just like trailed off, and so I was like, okay, but she was spooked a little bit by like hearing about the fact that there were arrests, and she's like, so I'm really scared of ICE. I really don't want to be deported. I'm scared of like the police like doing anything. And so like, do you know like what protections I have? Um, and I was like, yeah, sure. Like, let's talk. Like, let's exchange numbers. I'll put you in contact with some immigration attorneys. Like, yada yada yada. And then I was telling her about Signal. And I was like, have you ever heard of Signal? This encrypted, like end-to-end encrypted instant messaging app. You can use it for secure communication. I highly recommend you download it so you can talk to immigration attorneys and communicate in a way that like is at least like somewhat opaque to law enforcement agencies. Uh, and she's like, no, I haven't heard of Signal, but have you ever heard of Telegram? And she's like, I'm very proud of it because it's Russian.
oh, that's great. Um, but yeah, overall, what do you want folks at home to take away from this to better understand the cause? You know?
One of the things that I heard said by one of the students who came down to support us was she said, people are so tired of just doom scrolling all the time. And, like there's like the whole meme of like, oh, log off, touch grass. Um, and at the same time, just feeling like, how is this like current reality real? Like, how are politics real? Like, and that there's just like a complete like ironic detachment from everything, but that this strike, he said, was like this is the first time anything has made sense and felt real since 2020, like referring to like the uprising, like George Floyd uprising. And so like I would say that it speaks to the fact that I feel that everybody, to a certain extent, regardless of where you stand in the political spectrum, feels that like whatever is going on online is just completely like divorced from reality and lacks authenticity entirely. But once people find something that has authenticity and also, in addition to that, offers like a real shared sense of community, it resonates deeply with people. I have been, because I haven't stayed at just my picket location, I've moved over to other locations whenever I heard that there was like conflict with a like a scab driver trying to break a picket line. And multiple times I've found myself trying to turn away a scab truck in a really like contentious, like tense interaction with a guy who has like a "Don't Tread on Me" flag on a lifted pickup truck and a Trump Pence 2020 sign on
Yeah.
like bumper sticker and a "We the People's" a "We the People" arm tattoo that looks a lot like Pete Hegseth, but he got it like before he did. But he's also trying to turn away this scab truck with me, and I'll talk to him about socialism without like saying socialism, and he'll say, "No, exactly, man, like the rich get richer and the poor get poorer," and like finding that like yeah, like it turns out like we're able to like just like talk to each other face to face and like just have a normal conversation that isn't like poisoned by like echo chambers and rhetoric and like meme references and ironic detachment and rage bait, that it turns out like we can all like get on the same page and come together and like all of this shit that liberals like constantly like talk about like how we need to do this, but then like just capitulate to these awful fascists. Like you don't have to compromise on things like trans rights and racism. You can just stand on business, and it turns out that like authenticity and like going hard for what you believe in resonates with people and has a way of like changing people's minds. Because I mean, like this like chud who I'm like turning scab trucks away from. Now he's like walking a picket line next to a trans woman and like, is like, yeah, I got your back. And it's like, yeah, we literally have like people on this picket line because of like the nature of like the kind of work that we do and where we are, that like the Starbucks barista with a septum piercing and blue hair, literally blue hair and pronouns, is standing in solidarity next to her coworker with like the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, and it's like that, you know, this banner that was seen during like this uprising in Chile in 2019 against like a fare hike. There was like a transit fare hike,
Yeah.
and people started protesting it by like just popping turnstiles en masse, and because the police like cracked down on it super hard, and it's just popping off big time, turning into this like nationwide uprising that was just like it was just against like everything. It wasn't about the transit hike anymore. Obviously, it was
just that like this way of living is wrong. There's something fundamentally wrong with it, and it needs to change. And it's turning this like mass uprising. And there was this banner seen during this uprising that said, "We're not from the left, we're not from the right, we're from the bottom, and we're coming for those on top."
Oh hell yeah! It's like that meme. Yeah, that meme. This is what the powerful fears. And it's
No,
like
seriously, like of like the dude in the Confederate flag shirt and the black guy with like a gang bandana, like fist bumping each other. Like, absolutely, yes. Like,
hell yeah.
like, because guess what? There's also a dude on the picket line who like has GD tattoos, and he's on the picket line with us too. I mean, like that. It's literally happening, like in real life right now, and yeah, the ruling class is scared. They're sending the cops after us. Like, they're scared shitless of people being able to just talk to it, like look to each other and be like, "Yeah, we make this shit work. Like labor creates all wealth. We make the world go round. We deserve better. Everybody deserves better. Like, politics doesn't matter. Identity politics doesn't matter. White, black, straight, gay, trans. It doesn't matter. In the end, we're all working class people, and we all deserve to have a good life
Yeah.
because we all, at the end, want the same things. We want to be able to live comfortably, and we want to be able to take care of our families."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fucking a. Well, I'm gonna uh cover the news. You could hang out, or if you wanted, or I feel like I've kept you on hold for this interview for a little bit.
No, it's totally fine. If
I don't. What time
if
is it
it's
over
if
there?
I'm actually gonna get much needed sleep, I've been I've been running on empty.
Oh fuck. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you for letting me
Or
join you. But yeah, let's chit chat. Hopefully next month I'll be there. But like,
definitely, and I'm happy to hop on stream again. Just let me know.
oh yeah, happy to have you as the first guest. And okay, I yeah, I was just doing this in front of the PS5 for a little bit now. We got this desktop set up, and we hell yeah, yeah. Come on through if you see me live at bbcorby.twitch.tv. Come on through and chat news and politics if the time arises.
Should 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 I plug my pluggables?
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck yeah, definitely, dude. Most definitely. Fucking say that shit. We'll include it in the TikTok reel edit too. So.
Yeah, I am Sasha Berkman on TikTok. At HickNihil161. That's HICNIHIL161 on TikTok. I have an album. Um, my artist name is Partisan. That's on Bandcamp. Is partisanmpls.bandcamp.com. My album is called Earthbound. It came out in the beginning of the summer, and it is just like ambient music. There's some like field recordings and nature sounds in there too, with some nice ethereal synths over it. So if you enjoy like Apex Twin or Blank Banshee or anything like that, then feel free to check it out. And that's about it. That's all I got to plug.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for coming on through. Thank you for your patience and your grace throughout me learning how to do this shit.
No, it's all good.
I'm gonna like have an edit for YouTube, and like I'm gonna try to figure out how to do this shit vertically for like the TikTok and the reel and shit. But I do want to get my so yeah, Kevin's been editing for the most part, but I will get my feet wet on some Final Cut Pro this weekend and kind of carve some content this week. And also, I'm going to like do the TikTok in Eddington this weekend. Probably tonight. We'll see. But
So look, I made you some content. Daddy made you your favorite open wide.
that one's aged well. I
Really, truly, yeah.
I
That
can't believe.
entire special, it continues to age like wine.
All right. Well, good night, Justin. Thank you for
Have a
joining
good night,
us.
Corbin.
All right. We'll see. Hopefully, talk to you soon.
All right.
Good luck. Solidarity. All right. Well, I really have to use the bathroom, but I will